Welcome to the Cambridge Learning Center. I'm Leonardo Radomile. One of the most important factors in the college admissions process is the SAT exam. Though it's only one of the criteria that are used by admissions committees, it really is a crucial one. And the most important part of the SAT exam is the verbal section. Now, why is that? Well, most high schools do a very good job of preparing students for the math section of the SAT, which is made up of algebra, geometry, orders of operations, statistics, measurements, and other aspects of mathematics that are a normal part of the high school curriculum. But it's in the verbal section that students really distinguish themselves from others with the same math scores on the SAT and the same grades in school. Why is that? Well, the reason is that very few schools really emphasize those domains of learning that are included in the SAT verbal. And what are those? Well, the first is grammar. Over 50% of the SAT verbal is composed of grammar questions or questions that are indirectly related to grammar. It's critical for a student to know what parts of speech are and what parts of a sentence are, how these things operate, and know and feel very comfortable with terms like participle phrases, adverb clauses, or reflective pronouns, and really knowing how to use those things. This is where a student really distinguishes herself. In addition to that, very few schools excel at teaching critical reading. And the key to understanding critical reading is understanding rhetoric, which very few schools teach today. Now, what are those components of rhetoric that really help students excel in critical reading? Well, the first is reflective intelligence. And what is that? Well, reflective intelligence is the ability to read a paragraph or a sentence and stop and think and really reflect on it. And say to yourself, well, I know what this says, I know what the facts are, but what does it really mean? Stopping and reflecting and asking yourself, what is the author trying to tell me that really isn't in the words? What does this sentence or this paragraph suggest? What does it imply? What can I infer from this? What is the purpose of this paragraph, and what is it that the author really wants me to conclude that may not be explicit here? The second skill in critical reading that really needs to be mastered is the ability to pick out the key ideas in an essay. Very often you'll have an essay of 750 to 1,000 words, and within that essay there may be only 12 key sentences. And in those key sentences there may only be 5 words that really convey the meaning of that sentence. So that you could say that an essay of 750 words can really be reduced to 75 or 100 words. And it's the ability to pick out what's really important, the key ideas, to separate what's essential from what's incidental, that gives a student a real X-ray of what the essay is all about. The ability to see what is critical and what is just incidental. In addition to being able to identify key ideas and then use reflective intelligence, the third key aspect of critical reading is the ability to see the relationship of ideas. How do these key ideas relate to each other? Because often the whole is always greater than the sum of its parts. When you take those key ideas and put them together, there's always something else being communicated by the author that may not be explicit in the text. So as you can see, a knowledge of grammar, of rhetoric, of being able to use reflective intelligence to pick out key ideas and to see the relationship between them is really essential to excelling on the SAT verbal. Now, in our next video, we're actually going to do a mini course on the SAT verbal where we will be taking you through certain exercises and certain texts so you can see how these skills can be used, and we know that you'll get a great deal out of it. It's going to be a little bit longer than our usual video, but it'll contain a great deal of vital information that'll really help you in your preparation. So thanks for stopping by the Cambridge Learning Center. If you found this video helpful, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're always updating it on different aspects of the whole spectrum of issues on the college admissions process. Or if you have a specific question, just post a comment below and we'll be happy to respond to it. So thanks again for stopping by the Cambridge Learning Center.